It is officially summer. It is time to get outside, enjoy the amazing weather, because it's summertime. That's when we gotta be outside. We gotta go on hikes, we gotta go to the beach, we gotta do all the fun and amazing things. And I've been gone for a week. I'm really excited to be down in front of the camera again. My kid's last day of school is tomorrow. They're pumped to start their summer journeys. Jack is going to an amazing summer camp. Nate has his first summer job, and Sophia's gonna be going to all kinds of softball camps. So they're all really pumped just to get summer started, and I'm really excited to talk about this week's comics. It's another gigantic week for me, almost 30 books again. What is happening with my pull list? It's like small and then large and then small and then large. But guys, let's not waste any more time. I'm rambling a little bit just because I'm excited to be in front of the camera and in front of you guys once again. So let's go ahead and dive into today's video, which is the Wednesday pull list. What is going on, comic book fans? Welcome back to the channel. And today is Tuesday, June 25th. That's right, June 25th of 2024. We are just one day away from the best day of the work week, and that is New Comic Book Day. Tomorrow, Wednesday, May 27th, right? Yeah, May 26th. I'm all over the place. I can't even get the dates right. May 26th of 2024. This week for me is a gigantic week, almost 30 books on the pull list. Once again, I feel like that happened like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's back again. Another gigantic week for me. I sadly did not read all the previous issues to the books that are on my pull list. That means 5 books do not have a chance to be on the top 3 list, but that's okay because I still read. There's only 2 number ones, so that means I had 27 books to read, and I read 22. So that's pretty good, especially if you consider we had a big party here on Saturday. We had people here on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday too. So I didn't have a ton of time to read, but I fit as much as I could in. Guys, I'm rambling once again. I'm just excited, like I said, excited to be in front of the camera again. But guys, if you've never seen the Wednesday pull list before, this is an exciting video that I try to get you excited about the books that are on my pull list. I go over all the best covers, in my opinion, that are dropping this week, all the best reads that are on my pull list, and yeah, and I just give you my general opinion to all the books on my pull list. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out my pull list. Now, as you guys can see, this is a gigantic pull list. Once again, 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, from one side to the other of this really wide, ultra wide monitor. There are a total of 29. That's right, 29 books on my pull list. So, you guys can't see what those books are. They're too miniature. So let me go ahead and throw them up on screen right now. Like I said, there are 29 books on my pull list. There are 2 new number ones. There are 7 DC books, 7 Marvel books, and 15, that's right, 15 independent titles on my pull list this week. That is a huge list. And like I said earlier, there are 5 books that I did not read the previous issues to. I will mark them up on screen right now. Those 5 books cannot make the top 3 list. All right, guys, that is my pull list. Now, after reading the 22 books that I did read, none of those books are worthy of the chopping block. They were all really fun reads. So we're going to go ahead and skip right ahead to my cover lever picks. Now, just so you guys know, I am not picking up every single cover that I'm going to talk about, but I did go through every single comic book that's coming out tomorrow, and I picked up my favorite covers that I would pick up just based on the cover art alone. But guys, let's go ahead and dive into these covers. And the first one up is Detective Comics issue number 1086, the cover C variant, done by Javier Fernandez. This is just a fantastic Batman cover. I love the colors. The line work is fantastic, and it's Batman. It's my favorite hero. I freaking love it. Now, next up is Action Comics issue number 1066, the cover B variant, done by Jorge Jimenez. I freaking love Jorge Jimenez. And this one right here with Superman like upper punching or upper cutting, whatever it is. Brainiac, so freaking good. Next up is Something is Killing the Children, issue number 38 with the cover F in the cover H. Now, the cover H is a 1 per store black and white variant done by Sanford Green. Sanford Green is slowly like getting more and more popular. He's getting more opportunities to do variant covers. And this one right here with Eric Slaughter is so good. And I have a feeling if you see that one more story, you definitely want to pick it up. I think it's gonna fly off shelves because it is so freaking cool. Now guys, next up is Void Rivals issue number 10 with the cover D variant, which is the 1 in 25 ratio variant done by Marcio Takara. So good. If you're not reading this series, definitely read this series. It is fantastic. It started the whole Energon universe, and this cover right here is fantastic. Next up is the Spectacular Spider-Man issue number 4. Not Spider-Man, Spider-Men. This is the variant cover done by Francisco Mobili. Now, I haven't seen a ton of this guy's artwork, but he did a cover for Amazing Spider-Man a little while ago. It was a 1 in 25. Bought 2 of them already because they're so good. And this cover right here is so awesome. It's an open order, so you guys can pick it up too. He just does body and line weight and colors, even though he didn't do the colors on this, I'm sure, but just everything about it is so good. And you would think Spider-Man would have big chunky legs, and he does here because, like, you know, he's super strong. Of course he's gonna have big legs. All right, guys, next up is Blood Hunt issue number 4. Now this is the 1 in 10 trade dress version done by Gabriel Del Auto. There is also a 1 in 100 virgin variant of this as well. It is a connecting cover set, and this is the 4th piece of that set, and this is just so good. It features Blade, and Blade is such a cool freaking character. All right, guys, next up is the Department of Truth issue number 23, the cover C variant, which is the 1 in 25 ratio variant done by Sebastian Fumera. This is really good in my opinion. This is a fantastic cover. I used to read the Department of Truth. I fell off probably around issue number 14 or 15. It got a little too weird for me. It's changed to in the 4th. And this is just, it's a really, really good cover. It's really cool. Next up is X-Men 97 issue number 4 with the big Marvels variant done by Scotty Young. I don't like the black and white version of this. I really like the colored version. This is really cool. It features Storm, and it is adorable and amazing all at the same time. I really like it. All right, guys, next up is Zatanna Bring Down the House, issue number 1. Now, this is the cover D foil virgin variant done by Art Germ. Now, there is a cover B, which is not a foil, and it is also done by Art Germ. It's the same exact cover, just sort of trade dress on it. But this one right here, which is the virgin, is so, so good. All right, guys. These are the last 3 covers, I believe. Is there some more after that? No, these are the last 3. Next up is Grimm issue number 18 with the cover D, which is the 1 in 20 ratio variant done by Simon Gain. This is just beautiful. I like the flowers. I like the line work. The colors are like muted a little bit. It is really gorgeous in my opinion. All right, guys, next up is one of the books I did not read, which I'm kicking myself because I really wanted to read this book. This is Universal Monsters Creature from the Black Lagoon Lives issue number 3. Now this is the cover F, which is the 1 in 25 ratio variant done by David Talaski. This is definitely the best cover of the variant covers in my opinion. But guys, let me know which one you like the most down in the comments below. All right, guys, the final cover that I really like is Black Widow and Hawkeye issue number 4 with the big Marvels variant done by Scotty Young. I'm not a huge fan of all of these covers, but the ones that have a little extra to it and it's not just the character in the center of the page are my favorite. Like that Storm one is probably my favorite so far, but this one right here is so good. Black Widow looks awesome, and you got the lasers filling up the background. So good. So good. All right, guys, that is it for my cover lover picks for this week, which again is June 26th of 2024. So let's go ahead and check out the new number 1 that I think you guys have to be excited about. Just a quick break in the video, guys. If you guys could do me a huge favor, if you could take a second and just smash that like button before we move any further into the video, it would help out the channel so much, like hugely, and I would hugely appreciate it. There's like over 1,000 views on this video every single week, but only like 150 likes. Let's go ahead and get that number up, smash that like button, help me out, help Stephanie out, and let's go ahead and find out what the new number 1 is, because it's pretty freaking cool. Alright guys, I am stepping away from the normal books that I collect and I'm trying something new because one of the writers that I really enjoy is doing something different, and it's a kind of like an anime style book and I'm pretty excited about it, and I think you should be too. Guys, I'm talking about Gotcha Man issue number 1. Now the writer on this book is going to be Cullen Bunn. I say that name a lot on this channel because I think he's a fantastic writer, and he's going to take over an anime book which I'm going to tell you I'm pretty excited excited about. Now, this has the art of Chris Batista. I don't think I've ever seen this guy's artwork in the past, but that's okay, because I'm just really excited about this whole universe and Cullen Bunn as the writer. But let me go ahead and read the synopsis to you guys, and maybe you guys will be excited about this book too. A triumphant return to Gotcha Man, the iconic Japanese animated franchise of a 5-member bird-themed superhero team known to the Western audience as the Battle of the Planets. A mechanical terror has descended upon numerous cities, and the world's greatest scientists are disappearing. Our only hope, Science Ninja Team Gotcha Man. A bunch of scientists that are ninjas? Freaking amazing. As they battle these machinations from the international terrorist organization known as Galactor, their strength, willpower, and even vehicles are pushed to the absolute limit. If they fail, who's waiting in the wings to take their place? The first exciting issue of an ongoing series that expands upon the original anime series. One continuity, infinite possibilities. So this is picking right up from the end of the anime series, and it's going to go right into the new story. I'm pretty excited about that. Maybe I should go back and watch some of that anime series. I don't have time for that, but maybe I should. But guys, I am totally excited for this series, and there are some really cool variant covers for this. I really like the cover B, which is done by Sanford Green. See, more covers by Sanford Green because he's such a great freaking artist. The cover C is okay. The cover D is a blank. The cover E is a 1 in 10, which is fine. The 1 in 25 is kind of lame in my opinion. And there is a Mad Cave Studios exclusive that you can get on their website. I'll have that link down in the description below if you guys are interested in that one as well. But overall, I'm just pumped to try an anime book because I don't think I've ever read any anime in my life. So I'm diving in and I'm really excited. All right, guys, let me know what you think about Gotcha Man issue number 1. Are you going to give it a shot? Let me know down in the comments below. All right, guys, it is time to dive into the top 3 books that I think you guys should be picking up this week because the stories were the best, in my opinion. The number 3 spot is an independent title, and I'm just going to ruin something for you guys. All 3 of the books on the top 3 list are independents because the independents were just freaking amazing. But guys, the number 3 book is Grimm issue number 18. Now, I read issue number 17 yesterday. This is coming from the writer of Stephanie Phillips and has art by Felvano. Now, I'm not going to try to catch you guys up on 18 issues of a book, but I am going to tell you guys one thing that I really enjoyed about issue number 17 and a common theme within this series because I think it's very important, and that is relationships. Relationships is very important to everyone in life. Family relationships, which is a big part of Jess's story, which is the main character in this book, finding out who her mother was, finding out who her father was. Just that idea of family is so important. And she also has a close group of friends that has become her, like, you know, surrogate family. And that is awesome. Now, there is another character called Eddie. Eddie is one of her best friends and part of her little internal group that I would consider her true family. In issue number 17, like, went back to when this character was alive and went through some traumatic moments within his life that kind of made him who he was, and it was epic. It was really good. The dialogue really hit home in every single page. The layouts were amazing. It was the idea of this character not being accepted by his father for who he was. He was a rock star, but he was also a closet homosexual. He didn't like really come out to his father ever at all, and that was a big part of the story. And just with the fact of like becoming really famous and like having his band who was really close to him, and then also one of the band members who was really close to him was also his boyfriend that he's had for like years and years. Then they had to separate at one point, and there was a really big moment at the end of the book. And it was this beautiful story arc for this character done so well by Stephanie Phillips. And the art by Felvano was just so good. It was like so hard not to go really quick and like read this page because you just wanted to get more and more of the story, but you had to slow down and really take in each moment because it's so impactful and so emotional. And it was great. It was really great. Now, not every single issue of this book has been fantastic. This book has been on the list a few times, but issue number 17 got me really excited for issue number 18. It was a reminder of how good Stephanie Phillips can write, and it was just amazing. It was so good. It was so good. Now, there are some really great covers for this. Now, Eddie is featured on cover B. in the 1 in 10, which is just a like different kind of coloration of the cover B. And like I said, the 1 in 20 is absolutely fantastic. I might try to score the 1 in 10 because I think the 1 in 10 with this is like black, white, and red is really cool in my opinion. But guys, this is a fantastic read. I have been talking about it since like issues number like 2, 3, and 4. It did have like a couple low moments, but overall this series is fantastic. And Stephanie Phillips is going to Terrificon, and Josh and I are going to try to go there. Josh is my best friend. We're going to try to get tickets and like go there because there are some amazing artists and writers going there. But guys, Grimm, issue number 18. Pick it up this week. All right, guys, let's go ahead and find out my number 2 is. All right, guys, the number 2 book this week is an awesome story. A great time for you guys to be able to dive in because the 3rd issue is coming out this week, so it'll be really easy for you guys to get your hands on the issues number 1 and 2 and get all caught up. Guys, I'm talking about Rook Exodus issue number 3. Now, this is coming from the writer of Geoff Johns. That name is just synonymous with greatness. So, guys, this is going to be such a fantastic story and has amazing art by Jason Fabok. Geoff Johns, Jason Fabok. It's like, this is going to be a win. It has to be a win, right? Now, if you guys enjoy sci-fi and you enjoy the idea of us going off into space and terraforming planets and that not going well, and then people battling over what's left, this book is for you because it is exactly that. And there is one cool thing about this book is that there are people that can wear helmets that can control the animal life on the planet. And that is such a cool thing. It's such a great piece of this story because animals are so great. And then to see them fight alongside humans is just like another really cool thing. And the artwork in this book, it's so gorgeous to look at. Every single page is just gorgeously laid out in front of you, telling this amazing, crazy, like absolutely crazy sci-fi story. I'll give you a very brief synopsis. Earth is basically like dead. It's disgusting and like no one wants to be there anymore. And we're smart enough that we're able to send off ships off to other planets and terraform them into hopefully becoming the perfect planet. But that does not happen on this planet. It basically starts to fall apart and everyone tries to escape except some people are left behind. And our main character of Rook is trying to build a rocket ship to help himself get off this planet and get back to Earth. Because I guess it's better to be on that planet than this one. But everything starts to fall apart. Everything. And there is this bad warden that's trying to collect all the other helmets and take over what's left of this planet called Ursaw. And he has like these big gigantic bears that he can control to do his bidding, and it's awesome. In issue number 2, we did get introduced to Direwolf, which was an amazing character, and you find out that Rook and Direwolf used to have a little relationship, which was really good. It was palpable in the little story, but supposedly they're not able to be together. I don't know. We're going to find out why. But guys, this story was so good. The art was absolutely fantastic. The story is so engaging. Issue number 1 wasn't so much, but you really felt it in issue number 2. It really drew you in to this like urgency of trying to get off planet, but then it all falling apart. And then you're so mad at Ursaw. You just want Rook and Direwolf to go back and take what's theirs. But, you know, they had to run because Ursaw has like these gigantic genetically altered bears, which is just crazy. It was awesome. It was a ton of fun. Ton of fun. There's really only one variant cover to this book featuring the character of Direwolf. Now, there is a 1 in 50 foil of this exact same cover if you want to spend a little bit extra money. But guys, this book is definitely a must-have in my opinion. All right, guys, that is the number 2 book. Let's go ahead and find out what the number 1 is. I absolutely love it when I'm right about a new number 1. It is like one of my favorite things. It's so hard to tell sometimes when a new number 1 is going to be good or not. You see the writers on the book, you see the artist, you see the like preview pages, and you get really excited. But sometimes it's a big letdown. But when a new number 1 is exactly what you thought it was going to be, and sometimes even better, it's such a nice feeling. And I told you guys that you guys had to pick up Grommet's issue number 1. Because issue number 2 comes out this week, and I read issue number 1 a few days ago. And it was hands down the best read that I read out of the 22 books that I read this weekend. It was so good. This is coming from the writer of Rick Remender. You guys know I've been talking about Rick Remender because he's been doing Sacrificers, I believe one other book. But now he's doing Grommet's with Brian Posen. And this book has art by Monero Dionisio and Brett Parson. And guys, every single page of this book was entertaining, enjoyable, every single time you turn the page, something different was happening. But what I truly loved about this book is it sets you exactly back in the 1980s. I was born in 1980, and I grew up during the 80s. Now, obviously, a lot of my memories are more from like the early 90s, but I have some memories from the 1980s and that early 90s periods. And what Rick Remender and Brian Posen did was write the dialogue of this book exactly how kids talked back in the 1980s and early 90s. It was like, just like word for word, what I would be saying to my guy friends and what I would be saying to other people and other kids my age. And it sucked me back into that time frame, and it was so good. The nostalgia factor hit so hard. But the pacing of this book and the story that they're telling, this beautiful coming of age story, was fantastic. The idea of this character moving to this new town in California and feeling left out and trying to find friends and how awkward that can be. It's so awkward. I feel so bad for any kid that ever has to go through that. But this kid finally does find someone, and there's some really great funny moments between him, this kid's grandfather, and this other new kid, and it was so good. And then they get to the skate park, and then there's something happens in it, and I don't want to ruin it for you because it's so good. But the way that Rick Remender and Brian Posen told this one big climactic scene was epic. It was so good. Totally took you out of the story for like a second. You're trying to figure out what's happening, and then you realize what was done. It was like so good. And the art by Monero and Brett, the best. The best for this story. It fits it like hands down perfectly. It's like so good. It's just the style of art just fits the character story, and the way they can bring out the emotion in every single character. And like sometimes it's joy, sometimes it's like, you know, embarrassment and cringe, and just the best story. The best story I think I've read in like a month, maybe. I don't know. I read a lot of books. I do. Maybe I'm forgetting some other book that I absolutely love, but this one, Gromit's issue #1, was like mind-blowingly good, and I cannot wait to get my hands on issue #2. I do wish there were some more variant covers because there's only one, and it's okay. It definitely sets the scene of this book. You see there are two main characters checking out this girl in like this little bikini on roller skates riding by, like little boys do. They like to check out girls. I did. Obviously, I checked them out all the time because hormones were raging back then. It's so good. I probably did a terrible job explaining that to you, and I apologize, but just know Gromit's, hands down, one of the best stories. So good. So good. Read it, pick it up, support it. If you can get your hands on some of the ratio books for issue #1, they were the best. So good. I got the 1 in 25, but it was a little damaged from Midtown. Midtown, you stink. I can't believe you sent me a damaged book. But that's okay. I still got it. And I'm happy. I'm happy that I have it. But guys, that's the #1 book. That's the book you have to be reading. We have a lot of books to go over on the not top 3, but the books you got to see. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get that started right now. All right, guys, the not top 3, but the books you're going to see is me going over every single book on my pull list that was not in the top 3 or a new #1. I'm going to give you a little bit of information to let you guys know if this book is either good, not so good, or great. Because every single book was at least kind of good because none of the books are on the chopping block this week. So let's get this list started. First up is Action Comics issue number 1066. I'm freaking loving Action Comics in Superman right now. This whole Brainiac story is amazing. I'm loving it. I love the fact that all the Supermen are in this series. They're all helping each other, and I really, really like the story with Lex Luthor. It's so good. Next up, Animal Pound, issue number 4. I'm not loving this series, and this is one of the books I did not read because I gotta tell you, this was at the bottom of the pile. I was least excited for this. I really wanted to enjoy it because it was by Tom King, but it's very heavily political, and I'm just not loving it. All right, guys, next up is Batman Brave and the Bold, issue number 14. I didn't love issue number 13. There were some really bad stories in there. This is an anthology series, so you get a bunch of little stories in there. Some of them continue from issue to issue, but overall, issue number 13 really wasn't that good, so I'm not looking forward to issue number 14 that much, but it's not chop-worthy. Not yet. Not yet, at least. And come on, the cover is by Simon DeMeo. So good. Next up, Black Widow in Hawkeye, issue number 4. I loved issue number 3. It almost made the top 3 list. This is written by Stephanie Phillips. I forgot who the artist is, but the art in this book is fantastic, and I'm really enjoying the story. And I like how the Venom symbiote that is attached to Black Widow is actually a really cool addition to her character, in my opinion. Next up, Blood Hunt, issue number 4. not loving this. I'm going to continue picking it up because it is a big crossover event and cool things do happen within it. It's written by Jed MacKay, one of my favorite Marvel writers, but overall, this seems very formulaic to me. That's the problem. That's the problem with all these big events. Formulaic. They need to break the formula and do something different, in my opinion. Next up, Daredevil, issue number 10. This series has been like this for me. Good and bad, good and bad, good and bad. Issue number 9 was actually pretty good in my opinion. I really liked it, and I like how it ended, and I'm pretty excited to see where this is going to go forward. So hopefully it continues on this trend of getting better and better. All right, guys, next up is Detective Comics issue number 1086. I'm just collecting this to get off the creative team, but to continue my run of Detective Comics. I don't want to break it. So I'm just going to continue collecting it until they switch the team. So next up, Green Arrow, issue number 13. If you guys did not know, Joshua Williamson is done, I believe, with this issue or the next issue. And I don't know if there's going to be a new creative team on this book or not. But he was said that he needs a break. He needs a break. He's running too many things and he's not able to give his all to Green Arrow and Batman and Robin, which is sad in my opinion because I was kind of enjoying both series, but you can definitely tell he's not giving his all on this series. All right, guys, next up is King Spawn, issue number 35. Issue number 34 was okay, but overall, the whole Spawn universe is a ton of fun. Make sure you guys are reading it. This is another one of the books that I did not read. This is No One, issue number 9. I couldn't find issue number 8. It's somewhere. I probably slipped it in one of the boxes I wasn't supposed to, and I couldn't find it. So I need to find it and get caught up because overall that series is pretty good. It's like a murder mystery one. Next up is The Penguin, issue number 11. This book almost made the top 3 list. This continues to be a standout DC title, and it's just so good. And it's written by Tom King, and it's about the Penguin. How is this story so good? But it is. He's taking back over his empire in Gotham City, taking away from his children and just demoralizing them, letting them know that Papa is back, and it is so good. Rare Flavors, issue number 6, another one of the books that I did not read, but this story by Ron B is very enjoyable, and the artwork is also gorgeous. Next up, Rat City, issue number 3, another book that I did not read, issue number 2, I should say. And yeah, I did not love issue number 1. I was excited to read issue number 2 because I'm hoping the story will get better. It's set off into the future, and there's a guy who gets Spawn powers in the future. So let's see how that goes. Next up, Red Coat, issue number 3. Red Coat, issue number 2 was definitely a lot better than issue number 1, in my opinion. And the story is starting to get more and more exciting. It's about a guy who can live forever, but in issue number 2, something happened, and he might lose his power of immortality. What? Pretty cool. Next up, The Sacrificers, issue number 9. Issue number 8 was really, really good. I would say the story kind of told itself. I was kind of realizing what was going to happen before it happened. I don't love when that happens, but maybe because the story is just so good and you kind of felt like where it was going because the story was just so awesome that's a good thing. But I don't know. I'm hoping there's a twist in issue number 9 that turns it on head again. Because that's what's happened in the story. Multiple times you think what's going to happen and then something changes and you're like, what? No! So I'm hoping that's going to happen again. But the art in this book is also really good. Next up, Something is Killing the Children, issue number 38. 37 and 36 were fantastic because they've been one-shots and they're just telling stories of Eric Slaughter's past and really cool moments. And issue number 37 was great. From the very first page to the last page, you were engaged in the story and these little characters that you got a very brief glimpse of. You were just drawn into the little world. Great. So good. And Werther Del Dera on art. So good. Next up is The Spectacular Spider-Man, issue number 4. Issue number 3 was weird. It jumped around from past to the future to now to, it was all over the place and hard to follow a little bit. I did not love it. It does have art by Humberto Ramos, which is absolutely great and fantastic. I said it a lot. I'm overall really enjoying this series, but I believe this book is going to pit Peter and Miles against each other in the future, and they're going to battle it out for some reason. But overall, I have enjoyed this book. The first, at least the first 2 issues were good. Third one was a little weird. Maybe he'll get back on track in issue number 4. Next up, Spider-Gwen, The Ghost Spider, issue number 2. Check out this cover by Mark Brooks. So good. I actually enjoyed issue number 1. It wasn't terrible. I was preparing myself to not like this at all, 0, just to be a pure cover buy. But this story was actually pretty good. I'm excited to see where this is going to go. Spider-Gwen basically gets dropped on Earth 616, and she has to stay there. She cannot go back to her Earth. I forgot what number it is. In the TVA, which was like part of the Loki TV series, is there, and they're helping her like hide on this Earth, and we don't know why. It wasn't revealed, and she's supposed to completely hide herself, but of course she can't. Bad things are happening. She needs to help stop them, and that's where there's going to be like this cool little story. So I'm excited to see where this book is going to go. Next up, Superman issue number 15. More of the Brainiac stuff, more goodness. It's so good. Read this book. Read it. Next up, Ultimate Black Panther issue number 5. Okay. It's not bad, not great, not Spider-Man level. So overall, definitely an enjoyable book, and I like how the end of issue number 4 ended. It was a really cool moment, and I'm excited to see more of this series, more of Black Panther, Storm, and Warmonger all together. I think it's going to be hopefully a really cool book. Next up, Universal Monsters Creature from the Black Lagoon Lives issue number 3. I did not read issue number 2. This is one of the books I did not read, but issue number 1 was really good, and I'm pretty sure it's going to continue. Next up, Vengeance of the Moon Knight issue number 6, guys. This book probably should have been on the top 3 list. This was so good. I'm going to take a second and just let you know, Jed MacKay, what he's doing on this book is fantastic. Read the previous run. Read it. It's so great. It sets up this world so perfectly. And his team, the Moon Knight's team that was left after he passed away, is like doing their best to like continue. But Mark was such a big part of their lives. And in issue number 5, it was a great issue where 8-Ball, this character on the front, where you see right here, which is like this, what, D level, F level? I don't know. He's such a, like a no-name Marvel character that normally just gets beat up all the time. He had this whole story in issue number 6 that was like, let you know like who he is as a character and why you should like him and why Mark Spector believed in him, and it was emotional and great, but there's also just like the actual story that's going on around him, because there's like little tidbits in every single issue where the psychiatrist is sitting down with one of the team members and like dealing with the loss of Mark Spector, and 8-Ball's story was so good. It was so good. I loved it. Loved it. And the covers are great. The artwork in the interiors is great. Alessandro Cappuccio is so good. Read this book. Next up, Void Rivals, issue number 10, Robert Kirkman. I forgot who the artist is, Lorenzo De La Felici, I want to say. Another book that is just another must-read in my opinion. It's so great. And in issue number 9, which I read yesterday, I loved the 2 characters, Celia and I forgot what the other character's name off the top of my head. I read too many books. Keeping the names of all the characters is just almost impossible for me. But our 2 main characters met an Autobot, which was so great. And then the guy that was hunting both of them down, which is like teeny tiny compared to the Autobot, actually like went toe to toe with an Autobot. So good. Next up, World Tree issue number 11. I didn't read issue number 10, but overall, James Tynion IV telling this world-bending like tale. It is so good. And last but not least, we have Zatanna Bringing Down the House issue number 1. And the reason why I'm excited for this book is because it's Black Label. It doesn't have to stay within the continuity of the DC universe. It can tell its own story, and that means the artist and writer can do something really fun with this book. And this is also going to be a cover buy. There's going to be great covers with every single issue because it's Zatanna. Always good covers. All right, guys, that is the not top 3, but the books you gotta see, and that means we can wrap this video up. All right, guys, we are at the end of today's video. I'm nice and sweaty. It's good to be back in front of the camera, guys. And if you guys watch from the beginning of this video all the way to the end, at this point right now, I can let you guys know, thank you for the support. And you guys are legends. Thank you guys so much. Now, if you guys have not smashed that like button just yet, do me a favor and smash that like button. All right, guys, and last but not least, if you guys watched that video and you guys enjoy comic book content and you guys are not subscribed, what are you doing? Get yourself subscribed, hit that bell for notifications, and smash that like button. All right, guys, that is it for today's video. I will be back later this week with my final order cutoff speculation and recommendations video. Have yourself a great new comic book day tomorrow, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.